Dame i gospodo, nastavljamo dalje sa programom. Na redu je naš prvi case study i čast mi je da najavim našeg gosta, svetsku kulinarsku zvezdu i višestruko nagrađivanog kuvara Eyck Zimmera. Gospodin Zimmer iskustvo je stekao radeći u nekim od najboljih svetskih restorana, za sebe kaže da je građanin sveta, a svoj kulinarski rad opisuje kao kreativan, jasan i jednostavan, tvrdeći da mu je upravo takav i karakter. Sledi case study The Soul of a Chef. Gospodine Zimmer, izvolite, Mr. Zimmer, stage is yours.
This is working? Excellent. First of all, thanks very much for your interest. Thanks for giving me some of your time. Unfortunately, I don't speak Serbian, so it has to be in English or German. I think you prefer English to German, so let's do this. I'm very happy to be here. I'm the new chef at Square 9. I've been here now since 3 months in Serbia. Beautiful country, very friendly people. So I already feel like it's my second home. I'm not just saying that because I'm talking to you. I mean that in general. When I was asked to talk here today, I thought, oh my God, what are you going to talk about? And the only thing I know to talk about is obviously my life, from the way I started to where I am now. And I want to take you a little bit on that journey for you to understand the kind of person I am. And some people think I might be successful. I don't, maybe I am, but it's just, for me, it's just a natural journey. The characteristics I think a chef should have or should be aware of, and I take you through that. So that's me, Eyck Zimmer. I'm here, and I'm talking to you, and I'm happy. Soul of a Chef, just another picture. Okay. And there we go. And that's it. That's a sort of this is actually one-to-one from my website as well. And when I created that website, I sort of thought, what are the characteristics or the attributes a chef should have? So, I've taken a few on there: drive, desire, hunger, finesse, focus, sense, passion, a little bit of ego, a little bit of attitude. And I want to take you through each of them a little bit and explain a little bit about myself, why I think they are important attributes, or they were important attributes to me. If there's any questions, we either can leave it to the end, or we feel free to ask in between. I'm happy to go with the flow. Drive. Obviously, I'm German, and as Germans, we do have a reputation of hardworking and blah blah blah. This is all changed. Germany is not like what it used to be anymore. But my attitude is always show up on time. Work hard. Give it your best, and be true to yourself, even if it hurts. My most rewarding days, if I think back, and I have this talk every day in the kitchen with my chefs, they're like, oh, chef, we work too hard, chef, 8 hours, can we go home? And I'm sort of trying to make them understand, if you want to succeed, unfortunately, if you want to succeed, you have to always give a little bit more, especially in a 5-star hotel. I always compare it to an Olympian. If you go to the Olympic Games and you want to participate, you don't go, you can't go without training. So push yourself, set yourself goals. Every day, it starts with little things like be punctual, have self-discipline. So that's a very, very important thing. And if you don't have that self-drive, which some people don't do, then obviously it's important in an environment to create that people appreciate that. Desire. Desire is something you do need and want for yourself. I mean, for me, I was lucky when I've chosen my job 32 years ago. I'm older than I look. 32 years ago, as a 16-year-old, so you can do the maths, I thought, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? And I thought, I needed to be something creative. I need to be something where I can bring people happiness, and I wanted to do something with people. And express my creativity. So there weren't too many options. I'm East German. I grew up in a communist regime back then, and everything was very limited. And I had my dream, but I knew at that time that dream was never possible. So I can relate to some young Serbian chefs I have in my kitchen. They have a feeling they can't go anywhere. This is Serbia. We're not open to the big wide world, and I'm trying to make them understand things can change rapidly. Don't let that limit yourself. of thinking small. Still think big, still think everything is possible. So first of all, you need to want it for yourself. And I was lucky, I don't know how or why, maybe it's my education or my upbringing from my grandfather. I was always raised, whatever you do, you want to do it. Do it because you want to do it. Don't do it because you have to do it. You know, and then maybe that's a little bit in the back of my mind. And that filtered through all the years. So everything I do for myself. I don't do it to I do it to please other people as a chef, yes, but I do it because I want to please. I go to the gym not because I want to look good for other people. I want to feel good about myself. So I think that's a sort of trait. That's a sort of trait you should have. Do it for yourself, do it with pride, and be the best you can every day. I know it sounds cliche, but I think once you have that little thing in your mind, it helps you get through the day. What else did I come up with? Let's see. Hunger. Some of the things are overlapping, you know, desire, hunger, the things we spoke about. Again, is a very strong feeling, especially as a chef. We all know when we're hungry, we change moods, you know, some get aggressive, some get unconcentrated. So hunger is a strong feeling of wanting something, you know, wishing for something to happen. Again, when I was as a little boy watching Paul Bocuse on some of you probably know him, watching Paul Bocuse on television in East Germany, I just wanted to be like him. There was no chance I would even ever meet him back then. In 1985 it was, I think I saw him on TV, 84, as a 14-year-old. And that takes me back to what I was trying to say, think big. There was never a chance back then that I would meet him, and suddenly 15 years later, I participated twice in the biggest cooking competition in the world, which is the Bocuse d'Or, which was founded by him. I met with the guy himself. We had a good professional relationship since, and I look back at my life and I think like, wow, how did this happen? You're from nothing to dreaming. Suddenly, this is reality. So go for it. Focus. 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 Is that an internal? No. Focus. No. I mean, focus. Again, have an aim, have a plan, and again, through to my upbringing, I was lucky. I had a plan. I wanted to work in the best hotel in the city I was at the time, with the best people, cooking the best possible food. That was my aim. That was my what's the word in English? Expectation. No, that was my standard. I said to myself, this is what you want. You know, and in every city I worked in, I tried to do that. It might not have been the best hotel, it was the second best hotel, but it's still in the same group of people. What I'm trying to say with this, have an aim, have a focus, have a plan of what it is you want and when you want it, you know. Finesse. Finesse, this word I actually picked up from a famous American chef, Thomas Keller, who I met a few times during the Bocuse d'Or and also in the States when I visit his kitchen. His saying is, it's all about finesse. And I looked a bit more into it. What does he mean by that? Finesse is something fine, something, you know. And I think what he was trying to say, or I interpret what he was trying to say, is find your own style, you know. Try not... At some stage in your life, you will copy things, especially as you find your way up in career, whatever it is you do. There can be a hairdresser, there can be a fashion designer, there can be a chef. But as you get older, you have to find your own style, make things your own. Try not to follow every trend. Try to maybe set your own trend once you have the expertise. Try to be unique. Try to be yourself. Express yourself. Obviously, this is in creative jobs. You know, I'm fully aware there's some jobs out there where this is not easily possible. But this is obviously for creative jobs, which I consider cooking is. Sense. What do I mean by that? Sense. I'm trying to. When people ask, what do you look for in a chef when you hire a chef? I always say common sense is for me the most important thing. Common sense. And that means recognizing, seeing, feeling, hearing, listening, absorbing what your environment around you tells you. You know, it's like there's a reason for everything. I'm the kind of guy, I want to find out that reason. Why has this happened, or why? That sounds a bit strange now. Even if a mass murderer killing thousands of, I want to understand. It's wrong, yes, but I want to understand there's a reason for it. Why? You know, might not be a good example, but just my way of thinking. And I encourage my chefs and my colleagues just to use the environment because it inspires at least me and many others. Humility. This is a very important part. Although I think people who not know me or who see me, they think, oh, he's very confident, borderline arrogant, which is not. I'm actually quite a nice and sweet guy, which is not necessarily the case. I can laugh about myself, but stay humble, stay true to yourself, and don't take yourself more important than you are. Laugh at yourself, laugh at your mistakes. Your colleagues around you, they also want to see that you make mistakes. You know, everybody who hasn't met me and who's seen me in some magazines or whatever, they think like, wow, this is this. Everything he touches turns to gold. It's not the case. You know, I've done enough fuck up, so to speak in English. I've done enough bad things in my time, but I learned from them, and that's the important part. Obviously, because of my relative success I have, yes, it helps you being confident, and you know what you do generally is of a decent standard. But at the end of the day, it's only food, you know. Some people think you have to work 14, 16 hours, otherwise you're not a good chef. My thinking is, do it in less, you know, work more effective. It doesn't have to be 14 hours. Do it in 9, 10, but do it. So again, it's look at the big picture. Don't take anything too serious. It doesn't help the case. Creativity. Again, some of the things are overlapping. Be innovative, be original, be different, be unique, be you. Again, I'm fully aware that there's some people out there who don't see themselves necessarily as creative or I don't want to say doubt their ability, but in anything you do, you know, try to be true to yourself. I think this is the most important. This is the most important factor of creativity. Fully aware, when you build your career, you have to please other people. You have to follow rules. You have to adapt to the environment, the hotels you work for, the restaurants you work for. But as you progress and you find your way in life, you know, make it your own. Make it your own style. Make it your own environment, and also look at an environment that feeds you with that creativity. I was in St. Petersburg before I accepted a job in Belgrade, and I didn't feel St. Petersburg, beautiful city. I looked around, everything was beautiful, everything was nice, and I didn't feel it. I didn't feel the soul. So I had a feeling this city is not for me. And then 2 weeks later, I came to Belgrade, and for some reason, it was the same shitty weather. It was cold. It was January. It was dark. And for some reason, the city lured me in. You know, it's as like, this city is for you, and I felt very comfortable very quickly, and that's why I'm here. And looking back at the work I've done in the past 3 months with my team at Square 9, it was the right decision because now I look at the things we created, the food we've done, some of the things which been in the press, and I thought, wow, you know, it was the right decision. Yeah. I see you've been listening. You're good. I like you. That's why you're sitting in the first row, you see. Discipline. Again, discipline. Again, just for me, I'm not necessarily the traditional executive chef or whatever title you want to give me, director of culinary, or I'm not your traditional one. I'm quite modern thinking. I'm quite easygoing to a degree. I'm hard but fair. People who cried in my kitchen, they definitely can say that's true. But it's not only with others, it's also the expectations I have on myself. You know, it's very, very important. You know, I don't ask of any jobs to be done by one of my little chefs, so to speak, if I don't do them myself, you know. And I think the respect people will give you and have from you when they see, you know, today we have a busy day and chef is peeling potato, he's helping with us, he's one of us, that's my way of thinking, whilst other chefs would just walk around and say, oh, by the way, you have 50 more kilo potatoes to peel, let's get on with it, and they go and drink a coffee. This is not me, but this is my choice, my style. So again, discipline, very, very important. For others, for sure, and also for self, you know. Give direction, regulate, control. Technique. Again, as I said before, I always wanted to work for the best and the most creative people for me, because only if other people push you and inspire you in your environment, you become better, you know, and I think that's very, very important. In the old days, or some characteristics as a chef, they want to stand out, they want to be regarded as the, you know, the chef knows everything and the chef does everything. My kind of thinking is, if I don't know it, I have at least 2 or 3 people in my team who do know it. So I look at it as a team. And I always give the perfect example of a football team. You have Maradona in the team, you know, Argentina World Cup, and he's a one in a century player. But you need another 10 people who do the work. You can be the artist, you can be the creator, the creative person, but you still need someone who is doing the work. So surround yourself with people who inspire you, who push you, who make you a better team. Taste. Obviously, as a chef, taste is very, very important, and that's also taste in all details. Taste obviously for food, but then taste how you arrange, taste how you choose your plates. Look at the bigger picture. Look at your surroundings. Again, some people have a gift, a natural talent for having good taste. People say I have good taste. I don't know. Like this shirt I put on today and this trousers, as I didn't think. Some people stand in a cupboard in their closet for an hour and say what to think, what to wear. And I'm like, I'm taking this, I'm getting dressed, and that's it. I don't even look in the mirror, and then people say, oh, this looks nice. So maybe this is a little bit, I don't know, good taste. It's my taste anyway. Dedication. That's one sentence I must be using since the past 20 years when people say, what sums up a chef? And I always say, as a chef, you give much more than you get. And what I mean by that, and I can just talk for myself, I'm sure there's other jobs out there where they give more from themselves than what they get in reward. But what I mean by that, chefs are people who like to please generally. You know, anyone I know who's a chef wants to make people happy. You know, and in order to make people happy, most of them sacrifice a little bit of their own happiness to find that feeling in others. That starts by working Christmas, New Year's Eve, all the bank holidays other people have off, unsociable hours, all those little things. I don't want tears because I've chosen this, or we chosen this, we as chefs. But it's a bit of a self-punishment, you know, if we don't feel like we like to complain, or I like to complain, but at the same time we do it, you know, because we really love doing it. And there's no nicer feeling if then a guest or customer says, this was one of the better meals I had this year, or we really enjoyed what you've done. Like last night, we were cooking, some of my team and I, we were cooking till midnight at the French Embassy, doing a dinner for a fashion magazine. I left 12:30, I was at home, and then this morning, 8 o'clock, we left to come here, and that's what I mean by dedication. If you love what you're doing, which is what I do, share that passion with other people. You know, hopefully 1 or 2 people find a little bit of inspiration in that and follow you on the way. Teamwork, team player. Again, this is all cliche, you know. As I said, I just can talk about what I know. And I said that before, surround yourself with the best possible people that are good for you, that inspire you, and that also push you. Although in the kitchen, we always say, yes, chef. When something comes in and I say, do me this, they all say, yes, chef. It's like an army. That's out of respect. But what I mean by yes-sayers is people who say anything you say is right because you're the chef. And, you know, I don't want to have confrontation. I don't want to be involved. If you tell me to do that, I do that. I rather have people who question me. You know, can we do it different? Can we do it better? Can we do it, you know, can we do it from another angle? Who question everything we do, but only in order not to be negative, but in order to make it better. That's my reason behind that. Ego attitude, I think as a chef you have to be a little bit, everybody obviously knows Gordon Ramsay, and Gordon wouldn't be Gordon if he would have been a little pussycat, so he made his reputation with his aggressiveness, also with his directness, you know. And I always say, when people say, but he's a complete asshole, which some people say, I say he's actually not. He's actually outside the kitchen. He's a very, very nice guy. And what people need to understand, in order to get 3 Michelin star in one restaurant, and at times he had, I think, 14 Michelin stars all over the world, you need to have a certain attitude. You need to have a certain discipline. You need to have a certain way of giving direction, and the communication in the kitchen is yes and no. You know, normally that's the way. Yes, no, do it or don't do it. And we are very direct people, and that's why maybe some people think chefs are a bit of a funny human being. You know, we don't really fit in society. I think we do. It's just I want people to understand. I always say kitchen is like military. You know, you have the general who gives the orders. When I was in the army, you had to do the orders. You could argue afterwards, but first you had to follow. And I questioned it as a young guy. I said, why? Once I shoot someone or kill someone or fire a grenade, what's the point? Why should I complain afterwards? But it was always said, that's how it's done. That's what you have to do. You come after and complain. Passion. Obviously, in nothing we do in life, if you don't do it with passion, I'm a strong believer. You don't either do the right thing or you don't do it good. That's just my belief. And I always say, in order to create fire in you people or in my people, I need to be on fire myself. You know, they need to feel the passion. They need to feel the excitement. They need to feel that I live what I preach. You know, that every day there's a passion. When I get upset, it's not because I don't like someone. I get upset because I know we can do much better. Again, it's a standard I set myself. I have the same standard for my people who work for me, and that's why we get frustrated. So passion is one of the key words. Actually, they're all key words. Inspire, teach, excite, positively influence others, and motivate others. When I took the job at Square 9, on the second day, I took all my chefs together. And I said, they were all scared. They heard of me. They didn't know what to expect. And I said, I came here for 4 reasons. I came here to have fun. I came here to learn something from you. I came here to teach you something. And I came here to make you, or I don't want to say better people because they're not people, but I wanted to be a part of their life, that if they look back in 5 years down the road, when I'm not longer in Serbia maybe, that they look back and say, this guy, you know, he got me from there to there. He had a positive influence on my life. And those were my 4 promises I've given my team. And so far, I think I kept them. Evolve. What got you here may not get you there. And it took a long time for me to sort of look at that sentence and think like, what are you trying to say? Especially as a chef, what is good enough today it's not necessarily good enough tomorrow. Everything evolves. Everything needs to be finer. When I came, I created this little Oreo. I called it first Serbian Oreo. Then I changed the name to Belgrade Oreo because I thought it sounded nicer. It's the same thing. And when I put it first on the plate, it's a black olive cookie filled with a goat cheese cream and ayva. So these are all flavors from Serbia. I thought what Serbian people can relate to. And once I created this little thing, the cookie itself was already perfect, not the presentation. And I put it on the plate and I looked at it and I thought, you have something special here. But then I revisited this dish, you know. 2 days later, I changed the presentation. 3 days later, I put a little black olive on. So what I'm trying to say with this, I wasn't just happy and say, this is good enough, tick, done, and this is going to be it for the rest of my chef's life. I looked at it every day and I thought, something is missing, something we can do more simple, change taste, change presentation. And now last night we actually served it at the French embassy for 80 ladies. And I looked at it from when I served it 2 months ago to how we served it last night. It was a pretty good involvement, and that was because of my own expectations evolve. You know, don't just accept and say that's it, done, dusted. Look at it. What can you do better? What can be put forward? Stamina. I think we're nearly at the end, just in case you're bored. Push yourself, but also pace yourself. This is one thing. I know many chefs who want too much too quick, and they are not in the industry anymore. So, you know, be aware. It is a hard job being a chef, but it's also a long job to be a chef. I've do this job now for 32 years, and I know chefs who unfortunately died with 24 and 26 because of the pressure and all the other stuff they put themselves through. Pace yourself. That takes me back to the other thing is don't take it too serious. Love your job, love what you're doing, but think clever as well. Think you have 55 years from the beginning till the end to work in this industry as a chef in a very, very hard job. Again, I think that's my last slide, so then you're free of me. Love, again, cliche, but I like my colleagues. I don't want to say love because it sounds a bit, you know, but I have respect for your colleagues, like your colleagues, you know. Do what you do because you want to make your people happy, your colleagues, your guests, and I'm lucky enough that I love what I do, and that's why I couldn't think of a better job to do than the one I'm doing now, which is cooking and which is chefing, as I said, which I've done for 32 years. It's a little thing for my computer didn't like that. Okay, this is another little thing. So this is also for my website. Sums it probably a little bit up what I've talked about the last half an hour or so. It's my way. I don't know why it stops. It's my way. For me, it doesn't work. Obviously, for me, food is everything. You know, and because you live that passion, I think people who do come to your restaurant and talk to me and try to understand a little bit behind the chef. That they hopefully feel that in the food they get from me. And Born to Cook Plan B, this is not only my logo, this is also my tattoo. Yeah, I give up on this because this is not working. And I just want to thank you for your time. I hope I was a little bit, you know, touched on a few points. And if anyone has any questions, not you not, no. Any questions, feel free to ask.
What is your life? What is your favorite taste?
My favorite taste? Favorite taste, obviously, talking about tattoos, I've got the other one on my arm. There's 5 taste sense. We have salty, sweet, sour, bitter, and umami. And umami is probably a little bit of everything, so I have to say it. Not only is it a sexy name, umami, it's also my favorite flavor because it's got a little bit of all the elements. There's a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of sourness, a little bit of saltiness, so it would have to be umami. But I love sweet things, so after umami comes sweet. Any? Oh, okay, that's it. Makes it easier for me.
Thank you, Chef. What was your most challenging dish to prepare ever?
Oh my God, Goran, ex-Fabergé, yeah. I mean, Goran, who's sitting in the panel, we worked together 15 years ago at Claridge's in London, and we both have the same mentor and obviously very big influence on us, John Williams. And we've done an Eyck Fabergé, which is like, we take an egg, we cut it perfectly open, hollow everything out, then we put butter inside. We have macaroni slices, also pasta slices filled with truffle, and we have 5 pieces of them in the bottom of the egg. Then we make a lobster mousse. Then we have either caviar inside or a soft quail egg. Then the whole thing is steamed for 8 minutes. Then you carefully have to peel the eggshell off. So what you're left with is this mousse of lobster mousse, which is like a perfect egg shape, with the truffle on top. We serve that with langoustine and sometimes with cucumber spaghetti and like a champagne sauce. And people who are chefs, they think like, wow, if I get 10 out of them, you know, and we did the biggest function I think was for 400 of them. So you had 400 shaking chefs, no, it wasn't 400 shaking chefs, it was about 20 chefs, shaking hands, trying to peel off the egg, which is a very soft, delicate mousse, and peeled off the shell. So that's probably the most challenging dish. But saying that again, after we put a 16-hour working day in that, doing that, when I left home that evening, I remember, and I get goosebumps. I remember I go home with a very good feeling, because although it was long hours, but it was, for me, it was worth every minute I spent, because no one else did this egg. We had 3 French chefs, I think, very good French chefs. They looked at us English, which we were then back working in England. They looked at us thinking like, those English are crazy. How can they do this for 400 people? But we just did, you know. And that was a very good moment. There was someone else raising their hand.
So thank you for such a nice presentation.
No,
I was
thank you for listening.
I was thinking that it was a lot of photos of your menu, but I would like to say that even if we didn't see any photos of your dishes, I believe you. I would really like to taste anything that you made.
Then come to Square 9.
Okay, thank you.
No, because that's exactly what I want, and that's exactly what people need to talk also to the chefs. I'm fully aware some chefs don't like to come out of the kitchen because they think they either not that personality or they think, but it's actually very, very important to see the person behind who's in the kitchen, because we are just human beings like everyone else with feelings and with everything. And when guests say, oh, don't take it personal, I didn't like the food, of course we take it personal, because we put blood, sweat and tears in creating this and preparing this and sacrifices, so we're always going to take it personal. Okay. So next time you come to a restaurant and...
Okay, danke für die spannende Präsentation. Ich wohne in Wien, eigentlich bin ich eine Ernährungsberaterin. Aha. Und deswegen, das freue mich sehr, das ist etwas, dass ich in diese Situation kommen kann und solche spannende Präsentationen hören kann.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the compliment. Okay, that's it? No more? Last chance? Oh.
Who will be your guest in the Hotel 9 Square lunch?
Who will be, what do you mean?
Choose one.
You just want the free meal.
I must take somebody.
I need to check with my general manager.
Your favorite signature dish? Your favorite?
Signature dish?
Yes.
That's a tough one. No. She's actually very simple. I've cooked for her. She's actually a very simple person. She likes her steamed dumplings, but meat dumplings in a caper sauce. My favorite dish, it probably would have to be risotto. You know, I know it sounds boring. It's been done. It's just for some reason I have a love cooking risotto. And anyone in my team, or even now, if they see me posting pictures on Facebook or whatever, even chefs who worked with me for 15, they say, there is Zimmer again. They can exactly hear what I say, how everything is important, from sweating the onions to adding the rice to putting the white wine in. So they're tired of it, but it's actually something, because it's a very simple dish, but like with everything in life, the simple things, if you do them wrong, they're done, they're ruined, you know. So it's very, very important that if you do something simple, you do it perfect, and that's what I consider risotto to be. Goran, question? No? Anyone? Oh.
I would like to know which dish do you like here? What do you eat here?
We swap. I've eaten too much burek since I'm here, so that's why I started the gym again. No, burek is the first thing when I came here. My corner shop. I live in Belgrade in Dorčol, and there's a little just outside my house. There is a little baker's shop. And because we're chefs, when we cook all day, we're lazy to cook at home. You know, we're happy to cut off, and we actually the unhealthiest people properly. Because, as I said, we cook for others, we do everything, but we sacrifice. We don't go for lunch break, and when we go home, I have a fried egg. Yesterday night I had a fried egg. Yesterday night I had nothing. The day before I had a fried egg on toast. That was my dinner. And burek is easy. You go in the baker shop, you say 2 burek, you sit on the sofa, you have a bit of apple juice or beer, and you eat your burek. So burek, I love ayva. What else? And chivapi. It's all good. But I must admit, when I eat chivapi, I'm doing it the Turkish way. I use yogurt with cucumber and a little bit of mint. And I know this is a no-no maybe for some Serbians, but I do that. If that was it, thank you very much for your interest. I hope you had fun. I certainly enjoyed it. Thank